Ever get the feeling that some mysteries are like puzzles missing pieces? That's the Somerton Man case in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Picture this. December 1st, 1948, a sunny morning on Australia's Somerton Beach. Not exactly where you'd expect a mystery to unfold, right?
Yeah, and yet that's exactly what greeted beachgoers that morning. Anything but ordinary. A man dressed to the nines in a suit, lifeless, against the seawall.
Wow.
But here's where it gets strange. He carried no identification.
None.
No wallet, no letters, not even clothing labels.
Oh, wow.
It's as if someone went to extraordinary lengths to make sure he remained an enigma.
Talk about starting a deep dive with a blank slate. But we do have a few clues, right? A handful of items found on the body, at least.
Yes, each one kind of adding a new layer to the puzzle without bringing us any closer to the solution, really. A used train ticket to Henley Beach, a pack of juicy fruit gum, cigarettes, a comb.
Mundane, everyday items.
Mundane items, yeah, that offer no real insight into his identity or reason for being there.
It's like trying to solve a riddle where the clues just lead to more questions.
Right.
Speaking of questions, the autopsy report didn't exactly make things clearer, did it?
Quite the opposite. The pathologist's findings were, to say the least, perplexing. The man's organs were in an unusual state, particularly his spleen.
His spleen.
3 times its normal size.
Oh, wow.
Cause of death. Inconclusive. While the state of his organs pointed to poisoning, there were no toxins found in his system.
So we have a potential poisoning with no trace of poison.
Yeah. It's enough to make you wonder if the impossible was somehow possible.
Yeah, I suppose that's why the Somerton Man case remains a sensation even after all these years. There had to be something, some detail that set this case apart from any other unidentified person case.
There was.
Okay.
And this is where the intrigue, it deepens. Concealed within a hidden pocket in the man's trousers, investigators discovered a small piece of paper.
Okay.
On it, 2 words carefully printed. Tamám Shud.
Tamám Shud. It sounds almost lyrical, like something out of an epic poem or something.
Right.
What do those words mean?
They're Persian for "it is finished" or "the end."
The end.
A phrase that would take on a very chilling significance as the investigation unfolded. These words, it turned out, were from the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam, a collection of Persian poetry. Weeks after the body was found, a local man came forward, claimed he'd found a copy of the Rubaiyat discarded in his car.
Okay, I'm already getting chills. A discarded book of poetry. That on its own, okay, whatever. But we're talking about Tamám Shud here.
Yeah.
Did this, random book have any connection to our mystery man?
A remarkably direct one, actually. The book that this man found was missing the very page on which the phrase Tamám Shud was printed.
What?
A page that perfectly matched the scrap found in the dead man's pocket.
So we're not talking about a common book, one that you might find on every, bookshelf. This is a specific edition of a specific book making its way into our mystery just when Tamám Shud enters the picture.
Yeah.
Almost like someone was sending a message.
Yeah.
But who and to whom?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And to complicate matters further, inside the back cover of the found book, investigators discovered a series of seemingly random letters.
Oh, boy.
A code, perhaps. Despite their best efforts, cryptologists were unable to decipher its meaning.
This is incredible. We've got a man with no identity, a potential poisoning but no poison, a cryptic note from a book of poetry, and now a coded message that no one can crack. This is less a puzzle missing pieces and more like someone dumped a jigsaw puzzle out, mixed up several different ones, and then handed it to us with a wink and a dare to figure it out.
An apt analogy. And while all this was happening, investigators were pursuing every lead, hoping to find something, anything, that could shed light on the Somerton man's identity. And there was one lead in particular that seemed to hold the promise of unraveling the mystery. Though whether it would bring clarity or just deepen the enigma was anyone's guess.
Okay, I need to know more. What was this intriguing lead?
It all circles back to that copy of the Rubaiyat. Remember how we mentioned a phone number was found inside the back cover?
I wouldn't forget a detail like that, especially with a setup like this. It's not every day a phone number potentially unlocks the secrets to a decades-old mystery. So what happened? Did they trace the number?
They did. It belonged to a woman named Jessica Thompson, a resident of Glenelg, a suburb remarkably close to Somerton Beach. Now, one might assume she held the key to unraveling this intricate puzzle. However, her connection to the case would only further cloud the waters.
Intriguing. It seems every time we get a potential answer in the Somerton Man case, more questions arise. Did Jessica Thompson know the Somerton Man? What did you have to say about all of this?
When questioned, Jessica denied any knowledge of the man found on Somerton Beach. She claims to have no idea who he could be or why he would have a page from her copy of the Rubaiyat. But there's a curious detail that makes her connection to this case even more perplexing.
Oh, I bet there is. What did investigators uncover?
While Jessica claimed she didn't recognize the Somerton Man, witnesses observed her reaction when shown his photograph. They described her as being visibly distressed, even panicked.
Wow.
A far cry from someone who was completely unfamiliar with the man in the picture.
That's a very curious reaction indeed. It suggests a connection, something more than a simple, "I've never seen this man before." Almost like a hidden past coming to light. Did Jessica offer any explanation for her reaction?
She did. Jessica explained that she had given a copy of the Rubaiyat, her copy, in fact, to a man named Alfred Boxall during World War II. However, this lead would quickly turn into yet another dead end.
How so? What happened?
Investigators managed to track down Alfred Boxall.
Okay.
And it turned out he was very much alive and well, and intriguingly, still had the very same copy of the Rubaiyat Jessica had given him all those years ago. All the pages were intact.
So it seems we're back to square one with Jessica. Her copy of the Rubaiyat wasn't the one found with the Somerton Man, and she maintained she didn't know him. But that reaction to his photo, that whispers of something more. Did investigators explore any other connections between Jessica and the mystery man?
They did, and this is where the case takes an interesting, albeit speculative turn. Some theorists, particularly those drawn to more unconventional explanations, have pointed out a striking resemblance between the Somerton Man and Jessica's son, Robin.
Are we suggesting the Somerton Man could be Robin's father? That he wasn't a stranger to Jessica after all?
It's a theory that has been circulating for decades, fueled by certain physical similarities and the circumstances surrounding Jessica's connection to the Rubaiyat. Could there have been a hidden love affair? Did the Somerton Man somehow try to reconnect with Jessica, leading to his mysterious demise?
It's certainly a compelling narrative. A love affair, a secret message, perhaps even a tragic ending. It has all the makings of a classic mystery novel. But is there any evidence to support these claims?
While the resemblance between the Somerton Man and Jessica's son is intriguing, it's important to remember that it remains purely speculative. Without concrete evidence, it's impossible to confirm or deny their potential relationship.
It's amazing how, even with DNA analysis becoming increasingly common in criminal investigations, certain elements of this case continue to elude definitive answers. But even without a clear connection to Jessica Thompson, the Somerton Man story doesn't end there, does it? There are other avenues, other theories, other attempts to make sense of this enigma.
Precisely. Remember, all of this was happening during a particularly tumultuous period in history, the dawn of the Cold War. Intrigue and espionage were very real concerns, and Australia, with its strategic importance, was not immune to such clandestine operations.
That's right. The Cold War context adds a whole new layer of intrigue to the Somerton Man mystery. Are we suggesting he might have been a spy? A secret agent caught in a web of international intrigue? It's almost like stepping into a Cold War spy thriller. Could the Somerton Man's lack of identity, the coded message, even the potential use of an untraceable poison, all point to a life shrouded in secrecy?
It's a compelling theory. Imagine this. The Somerton Man, a ghost in life, operating in the shadows of a world on the brink. Was he a double agent, silenced to protect his mission? Or perhaps a courier, carrying secrets more valuable than his own life?
It's certainly a thought-provoking angle, especially given the global tensions at the time. And if we consider, his meticulous erasure of identity, it makes you wonder if someone, somewhere, knew exactly who he was and went to extreme lengths to conceal that truth.
And that's the heart of this mystery, isn't it? Was the Somerton Man's death a personal tragedy, or a carefully orchestrated act of espionage? While we can't definitively say without concrete evidence, the mere possibility is enough to send chills down your spine.
It's incredible how a case this cold can still captivate our imagination and leave us with more questions than answers. But that's the allure of the unknown, isn't it? Is the reason we delve into these deep dives, hoping to find some semblance of understanding. But decades have passed since that December morning on Somerton Beach. Did the mystery of the Somerton Man stay frozen in time? Or were there any new developments, any breakthroughs that might finally shed light on this enigma?
Well, remember how earlier we talked about the, advancements in forensic science? For decades, the Somerton Man lay buried under the weight of speculation and unanswered questions. But even as years turned into decades, the desire for answers never truly faded. And in 2019, a glimmer of hope emerged from the sands of time.
It's amazing how even after all this time, people were still so determined to uncover the truth. What happened in 2019, did new technology, perhaps something that didn't even exist back in 1948, finally provide a breakthrough?
You're exactly right. After years of, tireless campaigning by dedicated researchers, historians, amateur sleuths captivated by the Somerton Man story, the South Australian government finally agreed to exhume his body.
Wow.
The goal: leverage the power of modern DNA analysis, a tool unavailable to those original investigators.
DNA analysis has revolutionized criminal investigations, breathing new life into cold cases that once seemed unsolvable. Was there a hope that this technology might finally give a voice to the Somerton Man, a man silenced for so long?
Absolutely. The hope was to extract viable DNA samples from his remains and use this revolutionary technique, genetic genealogy. It's a process that involves tracing potential relatives through shared DNA segments, essentially building a family tree based on genetic matches within these vast databases. Imagine, after all these years, being able to trace the Somerton Man's lineage, uncover his true identity, and perhaps even unveil the secrets of his past.
It's an amazing testament to human curiosity and the relentless pursuit of truth, would you say? This case, with all its intrigue, dead ends, and seemingly impossible leads, still managed to capture the imagination of people all these years later.
It speaks to a very fundamental human need: to make sense of the unknown, to find order within chaos. And while the definitive answers we crave may remain elusive, even the smallest step toward understanding can be incredibly rewarding.
It makes you ponder,
Yeah.
What will people say about this case 70 years from now? What new evidence might surface? Will the Somerton Man story continue to captivate generations to come? It's a case that truly captures the imagination, urging us to consider the endless possibilities, the what-ifs that linger in the air. And even if we never have all the answers, perhaps that's where the true beauty of this enduring mystery lies.
The Somerton Man reminds us that some stories never truly end. They just wait to be continued. And perhaps, just perhaps, someday, someone listening to this will be the one to connect the final dots, to finally unravel the secrets hidden within this captivating enigma.
And we'll be here waiting for them. This has been another episode of The Deep Dive. Until next time, keep exploring.
Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe the channel. Please share your feedbacks and thoughts through comments.